used to be curtains, right?
Those were?
Yeah, I think so. Go ahead.
Welcome back. Hey, we're back, part 2. We actually have a special guest, Danny, high school player, senior to be, and talk a little bit about amateur. We've had a couple amateur. We've had the head of Florida High School Athletic Association public relations talking about new rules that were going into effect. We had talked about travel ball sometime last year. This is the first time we've had a guest this season, I believe. But are we on? No?
Yeah, we are.
A lot of good things and everything like that. So, Danny, you play high school ball. Obviously, we can see Gainesville High School here and everything like that. You play travel ball with FTB. I saw probably 6 or 8 FTB guys this last Sunday in the high school All-American game at Petco Field in San Diego. FTB, tell me about the travel experience with FTB.
So there's started out as an organization with really good players, and they would recruit and have 1 or 2 main teams of really good players. And now it's sort of developed into an organization that attracts players from the Southeast and even the Northeast. They're getting players from Pennsylvania and New York, and really just getting talent from the East Coast. And even though it's called Florida Travel Ball, they've got players going all over the nations.
And Francisco Lindor, Baez, Jose Fernandez.
Yeah.
The list of major leaguers, all-stars, players in the World Series, it's just phenomenal. One of the things, too, that we're looking at is, I saw the game, and you watched most of it with me, and I don't know if you had a chance to watch it, but
Didn't see
9-inning game, 18 different pitchers. Each kid had one, and each kid, what was unique about every one of those 18 pitchers?
They threw above 90? I was just guessing.
Just phenomenal. Every single one. And it started with Kumar.
And how many of them will be throwing and not having Tommy John surgery in the next 5 years?
I'd say probably a quarter to half of them will probably have some sort of surgery.
Mm-hmm.
But that's still a lot of players that are being projected now and will turn out to be major leaguers. So
It is. And it started first pitcher and projected to be one of the top picks. He's the #1 high school prospect in the country right now. Kumar Rocker out of Georgia. You've pitched against him. You've played against him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a really big guy, intimidating, but especially whenever you have a guy throwing 97, 98. And then he's got the off-speed stuff to back it up. So you're looking at a guy who's going to be pitching against high school players who could probably deal against the major league lineup.
And committed to what college?
Well, he's probably just going to get drafted. Yeah, he's not dealing with any colleges right now, probably.
Okay.
Is he lefty or righty?
He's righty.
He's a righty.
Righty.
Libertor, the kid that pitched the bottom of the first inning for the East, the visiting team, he was a lefty, and he was. Well, you can't sit there and say a kid that throws 98 with sick off-speed stuff.
Is not going to be the first pick.
No, when you got a lefty, and I was about to say, he was a more polished pitcher. And it's tough to say the other guy's not up.
What was it like? I did not have a very good baseball career, as everybody knows, the 4 people that watch this show. But when you're against a guy who's, how big is Kumar? How big is he?
Yeah, he's about as tall as me. He's like
6'5".
6'5", and he's coming at you with 98-mile-an-hour fastballs. What's it like?
Well, so what's interesting is watching the game. Like, I'm watching these kids take really good swings at the ball, and I've hit the fastest I've ever hit against probably is 94, 93, and I'm up there kind of taking little girl swings because I'm just dead afraid. I know that he has the command to throw in the strike zone, but there's just that 1% chance that he hits me in the face, And at the level that they're bringing in the best pitchers and the best hitters, so they're up there taking good swings at the ball, not just they're not up there.
Like
guessing.
I would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not looking like one of us.
They were taking good. They take good hacks.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Well, I think at some point, you said it right. You have the best pitchers and the best hitters, and they sort of balance out. I don't think Bryce Harper would have been scared of anybody anytime when he was
from the age of 15
from the age
on.
of 12 on. I think he would have gone and see anybody.
And to show you, 30 years, college baseball. Danny, right now, I remember in something, and I'll get back to that in a second, but he said he's seen 93, 94, and whatever. Mm-hmm. College baseball, what were you facing then?
Upper 80s. We probably faced I probably faced 4 guys that threw the ball over 90, and I can remember the first really wicked slider that I saw. A couple of guys from Georgia Southern. I went 1 for 8 on doubleheader day and put the ball in play 4 times and was happy with that because I was one of the few guys that even touched it on our team. But you know, you didn't see as much of the slider and the hard curveball. You know, back then curveballs, nobody knew what a hard curveball was, called a slider. And I remember the first guy was throwing 90 something. You know. But there were guys, even in high school, I mean, I played in high school against guys, a couple of guys that could throw at 90, but they were few and far between.
I mean, you think about 18 guys who could throw 90. My first car wouldn't go 90. I mean, down a hill maybe. I mean,
they had a little projection on the showcase on the Perfect Game, because it was the Perfect Game, also the Perfect Game showcase, and they showed just over the last. They had 2017. They had 253 of the 400 pitchers that showed up at the showcase through 90. 253 high school kids.
It's insane.
And then 5 years ago it was like 142, and just 10 years ago it was like 47 or 37.
Yeah, you know, 30 years ago, no one. I mean, unless you were being looked at by the major leagues, no one had a gun.
No, yeah, right.
But now kids are being coached to throw velocity.
That's all they're throwing. I mean, they're just becoming throwers. The art of pitching is going to be lost, and it's just going to be guys.
Do you
who
see
can throw
that,
it.
Danny?
Yeah. Well, actually, what's funny is I was watching on the MLB Network. They had they were showing a replay of like the '74 World Series, say, and both pitchers were throwing like 85.
Right.
And those were their best guys going, and you have guys nowadays throwing 15 miles an hour faster at 10 years younger. It's just completely
so
different.
when you got like Kumar, who has a fastball and then wicked off-speed stuff, like you said, is he an anomaly amongst high school pitchers, or is he more the norm when you have a guy that has 2 or 3 pitches that are really good?
Well, usually a guy will have 2 or 3 good pitches, and it'll be an 85 mile an hour fastball, not a 95 mile an hour fastball.
Right.
You know, and his curveball will break 3 inches, not 7 inches. So there's guys who are like him, but not to the degree that he's at.
Interesting.
I know when we were in high school, the one guy we faced that threw the ball really hard, I still remember, but he had nothing off speed. So you could just sit on his fastball, and we took a whole week's worth of batting practice from about 45 feet with our pitching machine throwing at max speed. Mm-hmm. And so I still remember that one because I wore one in the nether regions while we were getting it set up.
When the Marlins drafted Josh Beckett with the number 2 overall pick in 1999, right after the Devil Rays at the time took Josh Hamilton with the number 1 pick.
Mistake.
We wound up signing him a couple months later in Houston. We were in Houston. He was from right outside of Houston. He met the team in the hotel and had the signing there, and we had the press conference in the Astrodome. And I remember I went as the PR director for the Marlins at the time, and I'm doing the press release, typed it all up, and I got the scout who signed him, our guy from Texas. He was there for the press conference and whatever, and he actually brings me a copy. This is our scouting report on Josh Beckett. And I thought it was really neat. Is this for public? Yeah, we got him now. It doesn't matter what I saw when he was in high school. I made copies of it and passed it out to the media. And one of the things it said, he had a plus fastball, major league level right now. He had a plus curveball, major league level. And under changeup, it had unknown. And it said, does not throw it enough. And one of the writers actually asked Josh Beckett, are you afraid of your changeup? Why don't you throw it?
I don't need to.
And he said his exact words, I don't want to give him a chance.
That's good.
When you can
Don't
throw
speed
it,
up somebody else's bat.
because I don't want to give him a chance. And I thought that was so,
If you can throw it
and
by,
that's-
if you can throw it by him, you just throw it by him.
and that's
Say,
the
"Go
thing.
get
These
it."
guys don't, the guys, and you do, every team now has some kid that's throwing right around 90.
But the thing is now, a lot of these kids are used to it. It's just normal.
Right.
It's,
And
it's today's 85 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You know, as a hitter, you get used to whatever. If the ball doesn't move, 90 with no movement is easier to hit than 85 with movement.
Yeah.
Totally agree. And that's the one thing is, but when you master that stuff, and then all of a sudden you throw that.
Even that. I mean, if your fastball doesn't move, you're going to get hit. Now they might not get hit high school level, but
In
when
college,
they go to college level or they go to the minor leagues, they're going to get rocked because all of a sudden now they can throw it, but yeah, these guys can time it up. And a ball that's going 90 plus, that's timed up, goes a long way. It comes off the bat much faster than 90.
The going back to the All-Star game, kind of interesting at the showcase. And I want to say
Who won?
2014. The West won 6-1, and we'll go that route first. The West won 6-1. Left fielder dropped a fly ball.
Wait, he lost it in the California skies.
Can you believe he said that? Share the story. The broadcaster. Listen to this one, Eddie.
So there's a fly ball,
Off the end of the bat of a lefty, little blooper to
and the left fielder's
calls off the shortstop.
camped under it, and then it just lands right next to him. And the
Hits
commentator
him
goes,
right in the heel of the glove.
Yeah, commentator goes, well, it's probably the California skies. He's not.
Most of these guys haven't played with this California sun and California sky.
Is the sky different in California than every place else in America?
And they're playing at night with Petco Park's lights on. It's not,
Oh, so it's not like it's nighttime.
The night game.
yeah, he was observing the stars as the ball was flying. Or
Yeah,
something.
that's what it was.
I thought it was rather funny. And then he got the next two guys out, and this is Mason Denenberg. Okay.
Mason, and then he tries to get a fastball past the lefty, who's probably going to go top 10, and it ends up just in right field.
Nolan Gorman, who won the MVP, had a 2-run single, 2-run home run. Only the second home run ever hit in one of these All-Star games in the major league parks.
That's a
and
big league
put
hit.
it, put it off Mason. Tell us about Mason.
So I've played against Mason for probably 6 or 7 years, and he was actually one of the first players I ever gave up a home run against. And it was back whenever we were using skinny barrel bats, and I threw a fastball down the middle to start out a game after I had gotten the first two guys out, and he just hit a home run deep center. And I was like, wow, that guy's really good. But at the time, I didn't know who a lot of these players
He's out of
were.
Merritt Island, by the way.
And so I hadn't seen him for a while, and I know his name just from playing with him a lot and playing against him a lot. And I actually played in a tournament this summer, and he was on the team, and he was just using it to get reps to get ready for this game, the All-Star game. And at a showcase, he got clocked at 97, but he's also one of the top 10 catchers of the class. So he could go to a top-notch school or get drafted for catching or pitching.
And where's he committed?
He's committed to UF, yeah.
He's
He'll
in
never
Florida.
show up.
He is, and it's not top 10. He's one of the top 3 catchers in the high school class, and he's one of the top 10 pitchers in the high school class.
He's not showing up.
And he threw a 97-mile-an-hour fastball
Sullivan was
to
just
Gorman. After with one under, with the guy on that had
That was
reached
what was
with
most
2 outs.
impressive. He got a 97-mile-an-hour fastball in, and he still
He got it in on the guy,
and he still got his hands.
and he got the barrel on it and put it out the right center field. I mean,
Yeah.
absolutely crushed it.
Yeah, Mason probably wasn't very happy about that.
No, and it was
really
funny
good.
when they gave him the MVP award. They interviewed Gorman. He goes, "Well, Mason and I are real good friends, and we've been joking. And just the fact that I was able to hit a home run off
Yeah,
him."
I'm sure they were both a little surprised.
But Mason got an at bat later on in the game. He came in to catch 1 inning. He pitched about the 2nd or 3rd inning. He came in and in his 1 at bat, he singled and wound up scoring the only run for the East. So
Earned it
here
back.
it is, a 2-way player. Central Florida Gators was his travel team, which Danny's team ran into a lot, and it was someone that
By the time you get to FTB level ball, which is obviously high school, how many two-way players do you come across where most kids by that time focus on just their position?
Well, it's a mix. So the players who are super good at a position will usually end up getting thrown on the mound once or twice. Hey, because you have a good arm, we need pitching. And then they'll realize, geez, this guy's throwing 92, 93. Why don't we just work on that? And it's a lot less risky of a path. You have a guy who's a catcher who that's not necessarily the most reliable going into the MLB, where you have catchers getting tired out and burned out all the time.
Bryce Harper was a catcher.
Yeah, and so they're repurposing catchers with good arms all the time. So it's actually where you see a shift of players going from third base, right field, outfield catcher to the pitcher to being a pitcher, a lot more. And then they'll have them in travel tournaments where you just need pitching. So you're seeing double players like that.
In 2014, prior to the draft, a high school player in this game at the showcase, Carlos Correa, playing shortstop, threw across the diamond at 98 miles an hour. 98 from the shortstop position. That record was broken this past week. Will he ever, the kid who broke it, will he ever become a pitcher?
No, that's so there's a mix between parents who want their kids to go out and try to help the team as much as possible, and then there's Blaze. So Blaze Alexander is a guy who I got to play summer with a year and a half ago.
Your shortstop.
Yeah, and he throws 99 across the diamond. And,
He did in the showcase. Clocked it.
And so we needed pitching here and there, and it always would be like, his father's like, no, he just can't go on the mound. Why would we risk that, you know? And so he's thrown one inning in his entire life, and it was just for fun. So.
And it was sick.
So do you find parents who, like I mean, I don't know Blaze's parents, but obviously who want to protect their child, I guess stage parents at that level, is it greater when they're younger, or do you find by the time they get to FTB ball they're more, okay, we know what's going to go on here, they're not as intense?
Yeah, it depends parent to parent, really. Some parents are all about, get this win, and whenever you have a kid committed to South Carolina, you don't really want to jeopardize that. So
Blaze he's a South Carolina, but again, Blaze, look at him. Won the pre-tournament game because they played a couple scrimmage games before the official one that was on the MLB Network, and won one of them with a 3-run homer. You showed me the video.
Hit a 3-run home run, yeah.
In the one.
A quick guy who's hitting home runs.
So he's hitting home runs off this caliber of pitching. 99. I mean, when ground balls got hit last year with Blaze at shortstop, how do you feel?
He made one error the entire summer, and it was at the very end.
Okay,
So.
he'll go first couple rounds. Will he ever show up at South Carolina?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
No.
Because you said
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No.
But a lot of it's kind of an interesting trend, and as a high school kid, what you think about it, that over 50% of the players taken in the draft were college players.
Mm-hmm.
First time.
right.
First time this year that's happened. So part of it is, do you want to travel around in a stinky bus and ride around in a single A league and toil around for 3 years, or do you want to come to a school where you don't play 50 games a year or 150 games?
But then
a year?
you still toil around. The big story,
you're
which I
right.
wanted
But
to, and we've got a couple minutes here.
But these guys like this are in the top level programs where they fly and they only bus short
No,
distance.
but when you get done, all of a sudden, Peter Alonso. Where's Peter Alonso right now? Bussing with Tim Tebow at Port St. Lucie.
But he won't be in there long.
But that's A-ball. He'll be double. It'll take, especially position players, it'll take them 3 years from college as a college player to make it to the big
I'd
leagues.
say there's a good chance for him to either. I wouldn't be surprised either way if he went to South Carolina or got drafted. In this specific case.
In situations like that, does it depend on what the bonus is? Is that really what it boils down to, is the money?
Well, but now it's tiered. So now you already know if you're a middle second round pick, you're going to get $1.5 million. You know you're going to get $7. You know what you're going to get, and it's very tough. And I'll tell you, it's very tough. Let me not say it's very tough not to sign. Major league teams are not going to waste a 3rd round pick, a 2nd round pick, unless they know that the kid is signable and that he's going to sign.
Right.
But every year there's a few of those. There's more of those every year of guys who are not.
But they don't get drafted.
No, they do get drafted. Now they're still getting drafted, but every year, the last
They
few
choose
years,
not
there's been
to.
more of them
That are
who are
choosing
choosing
not
to go to college because of, I don't know why, but they're still drafting them in the first 2 or 3 or 4 rounds. What was
Well,
it?
the first round, every guy signed this year.
Right, but
And
second,
you-
third rounders.
Then you may take a chance. But very rarely will a team take a chance on a 2nd round pick unless they know he's going to, hey,
At that point, it's second round though.
If we throw you this much money, are you going to sign?
Right,
And
but-
it says it on the report. And all of a sudden, if
Second-
you take
but
them,
think about that. Think about a second round guy. Okay, a second round guy. How many of those make it to the big leagues? percentage.
Almost all of them.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Well, what's the percentage of first round guys that make
almost
it?
all of them.
No.
I'd say it's like first round. I'd probably say 60-70%.
Right, but that's not all of them.
Yeah. And then second round, I'd say 40-50%.
Right, so you got 40% chance that this guy that you say I'm going to give all this money to is going to make it to the big leagues. All right? So if I take a guy like Blaze and I try to convince him to come and he doesn't come, I've only lost an opportunity to have a guy that may or may not make it anyway. Now, if I'm for sure, if he's a for sure guy, I mean, you know, and Blaze may be, if he's a for sure guy, a can't miss guy, then that's different. But if you got a guy who's, yeah, we think he's got talent, but you never know how he's going to develop, kind of thing. Maybe he's hit his peak at 16, and he doesn't develop anymore. And you take a flyer on him in the second, third round, and he goes to college. You haven't really
You
lost.
take a flyer on him in the 11th and 12th round. Scouting directors are evaluated on their top 10 rounds. And if all of a sudden you take someone in the 3rd round and he winds up going to college, someone's losing a job.
But that's becoming more and more. That's what I'm saying, is that's becoming more and more the norm now than previous years when you were there and when we talked about that 5 years ago. Because now I'm seeing more and more guys that are 2, 3, and 4, 5th round picks for showing up at colleges. And you're going, how is that possible? Because of the same thing. How did they get through that? But I don't know if the teams are holding their scouts to that same level anymore, because now it's a little different. Hey, you know,
It's a lot harder for the scouts to judge what they're going to do.
and I don't get this money, you know, and the money slotted, and all of a sudden, like, well, that's not enough money for me. I'm gonna go get my degree.
Another one other guy real
One
quick.
final quick.
One final quick, which I didn't which I wanted you to comment. LSU signee Elijah Cabell played the entire game in right field. Elijah's another Florida kid. You faced him even longer.
Mason Denneberg.
Actually played travel ball with Mason. So and leadoff hitter, a lot of speed, disrupts things, great defensive player and everything. Did you see the power coming from him?
When we were younger, no, he was. I mean, he would swing as hard as he's a real competitor, but I don't know. Whenever he was younger, he wasn't one of those guys that I would say I expect that guy to become an LSU commit, potentially drafted. So
And an All-American playing a 4-game, starting in right field, batting
I
leadoff.
know you have to go back one question real quick. When you see guys when you're younger playing with them, and like this kid, and he gets all of a sudden the power comes, is that something from if that young person working out, getting stronger, or is that just something that naturally happens to players?
yeah, I mean, I played with him whenever he was say 5'2", and now he's 5'10", 5'11". So it's just natural as he grows up, and he's full effort kind of guy. So that's just bound to happen.
Some guys are early developers, and some guys are late. I mean, the kid that we played against in high school, he never got any better. He never went to college. He never. I mean, that was it. He peaked. and
I'm
he
still
was-
waiting.
He was done.
Played in the game hey, Danny, played in the game last year, committed to Florida. We thought he was going to get drafted very high. Wound up having Tommy John surgery and wound up dropping a few rounds and didn't sign. Started at UF this week. When's Hunter going to be playing for Florida? Hunter
Next week.
Ruth. When's Hunter going to be playing?
Hopefully soon, right?
I mean, he just had Tommy John. Have you heard or do you know?
Well, he actually had a really quick recovery, is what I heard from one of my other friends that knows him a little better.
So he's throwing.
He finished his surgery and his recovery, and I think he's actually working out now again.
With the fall. I mean, school started this week,
Yeah.
so I don't
So
know.
there's a
when the base-
possibility he might play in the spring.
Yeah, there's a possibility.
That'd be.
From
From what I heard, he had his
Hey,
surgery
this was a
recovery.
special treat. It was just a little different, something different than we've done. Want to thank Danny for
Yeah, thanks
joining
for hanging
us.
out, Danny. Anytime.
Good,
Mhm.
good
Anytime you want to
stuff.
come back. 6'5" lefty, you always want to have one. Hey,
Yep.
if you're a college coach watching this, he's still available.
One of the 15
Hey,
college coaches.
once again, another week, another show. We'll see you next week.
All right, bye.